Hello everyone, I'm Chyill, and welcome back to another one of my Rainbow Six video. Today, let's take a look at Hibana, the newly added Japanese SAT attack operator on Rainbow Six Siege. In this episode of my detailed Rainbow Six Siege guides, Hibana, the new Japanese attack operator, will be our main topic for today. Just like Ashe, IQ, and Twitch, Hibana has 3 speed and 1 armor, making her a very fast operator that will allow her to flank her enemies very quickly from different angles. Couple that with a unique gadget and powerful weapons, the enemies won't know which direction to defend from, giving you usually the upper hand in firefights to win the round easily. And so, I think she is actually one of the more powerful attackers, up there with Thermite, Blackbeard and all that. In this operator guide, I will start off with introducing and discussing about the operator's unique ability or gadget, and in this case it will be Hibana's unique x-kairos gadget. Then we will cover her weapons, both primary and secondary, as well as her secondary gadget choices. Finally, I will then cover Hibana's playstyle and give some tips and opinions on playing Hibana effectively. And so, without further ado, let's begin. First off, let's talk about her unique gadget, the x-kairos grenade launcher. Her special grenade launcher launches special explosive pellets that can attach to unreinforced or reinforced breachable walls, unreinforced or reinforced floor hatches, as well as semi-breachable flooring. Activating them makes them explode, creating mini holes on the surface they are attached to that players can shoot through or move through. Her grenade launcher comes with 3 charges, and each fired charge creates 6 pellets in a rectangular formation. Aiming down sights with the grenade launcher will give you a red box that will assist you by indicating where the pellets will land. Using just 1 charge on a wall will create a hole big enough to shoot through. 2 charges stacked on top of one another will create a hole that you can vault through, or if they are just above the floor, you can also crouch and walk through them slowly. Shooting 3 charges all stacked together on top of one another will create a large enough hole to walk through if the bottom charge is just above the floor. This makes it so that Thermite is still useful for breaching reinforced walls, since he can take 2 reinforced walls down completely, whereas Hibana needs all 3 of her charges just to be able to remove a reinforced wall completely and walk through it. In games where you only have a Hibana and no Thermite, it is best to use 2 charges to make a vaultable hole, and the remaining charge for a kill hole, especially if you need another entrance route to the objective room. Otherwise, you can use those charges however you like. Do note that you only need 1 charge for reinforced floor hatches, so Hibana can single-handedly take out all the reinforced floor hatches that are on top of the objective room, making it very difficult for the defenders to stay in the objective room itself, for fear of being shot from above since there are so many lines of sight to cover. So, some interesting things to note about the pellets are that once they are attached to the walls, they don't immediately activate, so you can fire all 3 charges before activating them all at once to create all 3 holes simultaneously. If there are mutes jammers behind the wall that you shoot the pellets on, the pellets will not activate because they are jammed, but you can take out the jammers to allow them to continue functioning properly. Shooting the pellets onto an electrified wall will destroy those pellets immediately, so do be careful not to use them on electrified walls. But once they are activated, however, Bandit putting his battery on the wall would not destroy the pellets, so no bandit tricks here will work on Hibana's pellets. Another thing that you can do is also to shoot out some of the pellets to create differently shaped holes, because sometimes it might be better to create smaller kill holes since it gives you just a little bit more cover from enemy fire. This is also actually one of the downsides of a grenade launcher. We should be careful with the pellets when you shoot it on unreinforced walls for this reason, because the enemies can shoot the pellets through the wall as well. It also doesn't do very much damage. The explosions cannot do enough damage to down a defender from full health. What's more, it also cannot attach to deployable shields, unlike Ashe's grenade launcher, so it's useless against those deployable shields. Direct impact on enemies do minimal damage too, and so it's not going to be able to help you with taking out even a downed enemy, unless maybe the pellets themselves are attached to a wall that are just behind the downed enemy, and they are still next to it when it explodes. When aiming with a grenade launcher, the red box can actually be seen by all players. This can be good since teammates can see where you're thinking of making holes, but just like laser sights giving away your position to enemies sometimes, the enemies can guess your location too if they see that big red rectangle if they happen to be there. And so that's about all the details about the grenade launcher. Because Hibana has 3 charges of these pellets, she can be very versatile and powerful, and you just gotta be creative with it when opening those little kill holes. Moving on, let's talk about the weapons and secondary gadgets available to Hibana. Starting with the primary weapons, she has 2 choices. One is an assault rifle and the other is a pump action shotgun. The assault rifle is a Hover Type 89F and is referred to in game as Type 89. It shoots 850 rounds per minute and deals 41 damage per round, making it a very powerful primary weapon option for Hibana. Its only downside is that it only has a magazine cap of 20, making it difficult to spray down multiple enemies with a single clip. The 850 rounds per minute adds to the effect since you also use your rounds that much faster. At least that high damage and RPM makes up for all the downsides. After playing with the rifle a little bit, I must say that it's actually quite easy to manage the recoil and the feel of the gun is just very good. And I must say it's one of my favorite guns in the game so far. The pump action shotgun is a Benelli Supernova, referred to in games as just Supernova. It has a base damage of 32 and an ammo cap of 7. After playing with the shotgun a little bit, I must say that it feels like a very powerful shotgun, but I find it really hard to justify using the shotgun instead of the assault rifle. Her ability to make kill holes and control large areas with said kill holes when she has the assault rifle equipped is just too strong. The shotgun just doesn't have enough range to let her do that effectively. So unless you're just trying to have fun with the shotgun, or you quite enjoy using the Bearing 9, which is one of her secondary weapons that we will get to later, for those longer range encounters I would not recommend the shotgun over her assault rifle. Moving on to her secondary weapons, she has a pistol and a submachine gun to choose from. Her pistol is a P229 Elite pistol, which does 42 damage each round, and has a magazine capacity of 12 rounds. Just like other pistols in the game except the Desert Eagle, there's nothing too special about it. The Menabia M9 submachine gun, or Bearing 9 in-game, that's available to Hibana however is very powerful. Just like the SMG-11 that Smoke and Sledge has, this SMG has a very high RPM at 1100. It has a magazine capacity of 25 and each round does 27 damage, but the RPM is the one that just shreds enemies to pieces. Luckily, Ubisoft didn't make the same mistake and give this SMG the ACOG scope just like the SMG-11 previously, otherwise Hibana might just be too powerful. Between the pistol and this SMG, I suppose the choice is quite a bit easier and we should always pick the SMG as Hibana's secondary weapon. On to her secondary gadget options, Hibana can either use stun grenades or she can use claymores. This choice definitely depends on your playstyle, since they are both good choices for Hibana. Personally, I would love it if she has breaching charges as an option, since that would allow her to create even more lines of sight and entrances into the objective room, but perhaps that might make her a bit too strong for Ubisoft's liking. Anyhow, I think you can pick stun grenades if you like to rush into the objective room, especially in hostage and secure area game modes. Those kill holes that you make with Hibana's special gadget helps in getting the stun grenades into those tighter corners to make sure you blind the defender nicely tucked away in a corner of the room before entering and doing what you need to do. Stun grenades often don't hit everyone in the room and can be quite easy to avoid if they are only thrown through some doors or windows. So those extra holes that Hibana makes can also be useful in this way. Otherwise, the claymore can help you with flankers while you're busy locking down a hallway or other entrances into an objective room through your kill holes. You can also use it in the bomb game mode to make it more difficult for the defenders to reach and stop that diffuser. I've also seen people making a small kill hole at the bottom of a wall and planting the claymore facing that hole, thus exploding the poor defender who happened to run past that little hole and did not notice that claymore being there. My advice is to play around with both gadgets and see which one is more of your playstyle and to your liking. And if you want to min-max, you can even change it every round to keep your opponents guessing. And that's it for her weapons and gadgets. Let's now talk about her playstyle and some of my tips for you for playing Hibana. As I mentioned before, Hibana is a fast operator, and this gives her some flexibility in the playstyles that she can have. She can flank when needed, or just stay put and lock down key hallways and prevent defenders from getting where they need to go. With her gadgets, she can also confuse her enemies quite a bit, making it hard for them to deal with her and her teammates. Personally, I like to flank with her and utilize her high movement speed to catch the enemies off guard. After making sure that the enemy roamer is taken out, Hibana is free to use her high movement speed and just create lots of lines of sight into the objective room, distracting the enemies inside at the same time, and maybe take a few of them out in the process. She excels even more when there are multiple reinforced hatches above the objective room, since she can and will single-handedly take all of them out by herself, causing even more panic for the enemy team, as they struggle to reposition and find better hiding spots inside the objective room. Usually there are only a few spots in the room that are not completely exposed to the hatches, and so even if they reposition and you know the layout of the room, it can become quite predictable where they will be hiding, and you can then quickly take them out from a different angle. As Hibana, a good tip is to enter the building instead of staying outside of windows and slowly taking people out that way. This way, I can create holes in the reinforced walls indoors instead of the outdoor ones, and let Thermite handle the outdoor ones if and when I have a Termite on the team. It's usually better to let Thermite take out the outer reinforced walls, since they will be big enough to quickly enter the room from outside of the building. Being inside means that you will be in a better position to quickly take out the reinforced hatches when you need to as well. About those hatches, if you can, it is good to start the round by entering straight into the floor above the objective room if there is any, since you can quickly take out those hatches straight away. But of course, as always, make sure it is safe before you just blindly rush in, and be careful of roamers. A tip that I have when playing Hibana is that if there are no hatches above the objective room to take out, and you're not sure where you want to use your charges because you have 3 charges, you can always start by using 1 or 2 charges at a medium or so level on the wall. Put them in positions that will allow you to reduce the number of corners that defenders can camp in, and also in locations that you may enter into the room safely in the future. The reason for this is that if you do need to enter from there later in the round, you can always use the remaining charge to create a vaultable hole in the wall and enter into the room safely. So preferably it would just be behind some cover or something. Of course, not all rooms will allow this, and so it is all up to your creativity to come up with different strategies when using Hibana. Another tip I have for you, although this is quite minor, is to remember to use your secondary weapon. Because your primary weapon only has a mag cap of 20, you'll sometimes find yourself out of ammo in the middle of a firefight before downing the enemy. Unless of course you have superb aim, then this probably won't happen to you. But anyways, if both you and your opponent have run out of ammo, switch to your secondary and try to finish him or her off. Because if they only have a pistol, it's likely quite hard for them to face off against your powerful secondary gun. Even if they still have ammo in their primary weapon, if you can safely change to your secondary weapon, they might not be expecting it and you can get the kill that way. Since they might be complacent and assume that you're trying to reload your primary weapon, they then put themselves in a very vulnerable position when they try to chase you. Overall, I think she is a great operator and will be one of my top picks for attacking operators, since she is a ton of fun to play and is very powerful with the gadget and weapon choices. After all, she is the only other operator that can blow up reinforcements other than Thermite, so I would say she is at least a 9 out of 10 in terms of her usability, and definitely one of my favorite operators to play as. And so yeah, that's about all I have to say about Hibana. I hope this guide has been helpful in some way for all of you, and you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and share this video with your friends. An Echo guide will be coming out soon as well, so be sure to subscribe for more informative and current gaming videos. It is the best way to stay up to date to when my videos will be released, and I would greatly appreciate all of your support. I hope you have a great day now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.